This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on you foxes!
Strap yourself in,
because we're set up, switched on and ready to go.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
and it's live.
Good morning, FA Cup winners. Top of the morning to you. God, don't know why I've gone Irish. Top of the morning to you. No, that was bad, wasn't it? I don't know why I'm doing that. I tell you what, it's Sunday morning. It's the morning after the night before. How are we all? Got your black coffees handy? But I tell you what, like I said this many times this season, pinching yourself is turning into self-abuse. And I know we didn't do this last night. I actually went on an Arsenal show last night because he invited me on and he wanted to sort of talk about winning the FA Cup. And looking at that one back, I'm really glad I didn't do one of these last night because I tell you what, it makes my normal ones look good. Good morning. Aye, shall we get our friends in? I think we should. It wouldn't be a win without this little lady.
Yes! Oh God! I'll have what she's having.
I can see Brad smiling in the green room there. He recognises those noises. I just need David Attenborough's voice to sort of over talk it, don't I? Hey, it's Leicester Till I Die TV. We are on YouTube, Leicester Till I Die TV. Please give that subscribe button a click. We would love you forever. Facebook, the group, Leicester Till I Die. And like I say, on the old Twitter sphere, at Leicester TID. We've got so much to go through. We've got a couple of special guests coming in, hopefully, at some point. Let's just have a look at a few early comments. If you want to get on the show, pinned to the top of the chat, if you're on YouTube, is the link. Come on, sit in the green room, and as soon as I get a break in Brad's chat, I'll bring you in for a quick 5 minutes to say hello. Miss Melina, what the devil are you doing up? Good morning to you. Yeah, I'm just as happy as I was last night. Like you say, it's 5:32 in the morning over there. What are you? Do you sleep at all? Do you sleep in Twitterland? I don't know, but it is great. It is great to see you from last year's FA Cup winners to this year's FA Cup winners. You passed the cup over. Matthew, good morning, young man. How the devil are you? We did it. Wow, didn't we just? What a beautiful victory for non-Foxes fans. I admire the owners for their passion and treating the club very well for the fans. We're going to come on to the owners later because I tell you what, I cried a few times yesterday, and I know Brad did as well. And we'll come on to top later because I just bawled. I tell you. Owners who truly care about their fans and the club. I did say, I don't think it was necessarily the the most entertaining game for the neutral by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, as a fan, you know yourself, you're not particularly bothered. But I said we won that for football. That win last night was what football is about, not this ELS shit. I tell you, that was what football was all about. Little clubs, Wigan, Wimbledon, Sunderland, Southampton, Leicester City, Coventry. Those teams coming. Yeah, did I say Coventry? Ooh, stop. Those teams coming through and absolutely, winning. That's what football's all about. I don't care what any of these big owners say. This might be Rob. I don't know. There's no name at the end. You look sober. Yeah, looks can be deceiving, I'll tell you. He's been waiting very, 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 very patiently in the old green room. Let's see if he's sober this morning, because I'm not sure he wasn't last night. Neither of us were, I don't think. But let's bring him in and say, good morning, Badders.
Good morning, mate. Good morning indeed. I am feeling fantastic. I can tell you that much.
Oh, aren't we just? Do you what, mate? Is that black coffee?
10:15, mine. Nearly made a late arrival, but I am feeling fantastic.
I didn't get up till 5 to 10, and I had to get the show ready. So have sympathy for me, Like I said, have you got the black coffee?
No, I've got I have got a coffee, you're right, but it's not a black one.
I tell you what, though, just talk me through. I mean, I went through so many emotions. I was sat with my son. We stood up for the last 10 minutes. We didn't sit down for literally. I was pacing, he was pacing. I always say in the last 5 minutes of a show after a match, I have to go and walk the dog. And at the end, I could feel myself welling up, and I felt the tears. And I thought, oh God, I'm with my son there. And I turned around, he was crying as well. Sum up how you felt watching it.
Oh, there's not enough words to describe it, mate. Honestly, I was all the emotions you could think of to describe it through that game. Joy, nerves, excitement. I mean, every time we had a corner, I had to move away from the table because I thought, no, this table's fine where it is. No, my luck will score and end up breaking it. It's not my table, And I was pacing round. When it was like 80 minutes, and I was sat here going, "Ref, come on! I know there's 10 minutes left. Just blow the whistle. We don't care. Don't care. Just give us a game." And
I tell you what, I've done this in other. I did this. Melina will remember me doing this in the Arsenal Chelsea game. I was joining in on a live watch along, and I did it. And I haven't got it here, but I'm not a biggest fan of Donald Trump, but I must admit, I agreed with him. Stop the count now. And I was like that for the last day. Stop the game now.
Yeah, and look, I know we had a jest about it, and I had a jest about it yesterday. But don't come on here first of all with too much abuse on here. We've always took a big stance on social media blackout over bullying online and that. But you can't help but feel a little bit smug that the guy who scored their goal that got wiped out was Ben Chilwell, can you? Not under the circumstances of his leave being different to Kante. Like I said, don't come out here with full-on abuse because it won't get up on the screen. Chris won't allow it. But we can have a little jest and banter about it because it's like, how fitting for the story was it that an ex-Fox denies only to be denied himself?
Denied twice, in fact. Let's be honest with you.
By the best keeper in the Premier League this season, hands down.
Yes. I mean,
flip me, what a save!
It was, and I just want to. It is a very good point you made there. We won't stand for abuse. We'll have a bit of banter. Banter's one thing. The odd swear word is another. We're set up now in the group that even if your post includes a swear word, it doesn't even get through to Brad or me to decide whether we're going to put it in or not.
But that awkward moment where you leave to go and win trophies, and then a 19-year-old that replaces you goes and wins an FA Cup. I can smile at that.
Of course. But what I just want to say is, and somebody posted this as a thing this morning, was that why was his post deleted? There was nothing wrong with it. I just want to say here on live, last night, I turned my phone off for the match. I just didn't have the phone on. I wasn't on social media. I had the time with my son, and time after when we were celebrating and crying and emotional and hugging and doing all that. And when I turned my phone on, I think there was something like 80 odd messages in total that posts needing approval that I had to get through. The same again about 11 o'clock at night. Brad, you dealt with sort of 20 or 30 at a time as well. This morning, I woke up to nearly 50 more posts. And the thing is, a lot of them are the same. A lot of the posts, they included sort of 10, 11 pictures, but they're all the same. And it just doesn't add to the chat in the group if 5 posts one after the other are exactly the same. And if you read the rules, that is why. So don't go mad. Posting it doesn't automatically get you posted up. But let's laugh at Chilwell. I mean, what made me laugh was that for some reason we were booing Alonso.
I think Leicester fans just wanted to boo. He had the same hair, didn't he? And do you know what was funny? I think the commentators picked up on it and they just said it just feels good. I remember that challenge that happened on Thomas when whoever it was came in hard and he got booked. And for the first time in 18 months, you heard off. You heard that chance, and it just made the occasion even better. I mean, no disrespect to Chelsea fans, but where were you? No, I heard there was 22,000 fans in that stand. Where were the Chelsea fans? Because I didn't hear them.
I spoke to somebody last night briefly, and we were like, you can hold on to that question because we've got our roving reporter in the green room. Not exactly sure what he's got on his head, but I'll bring him in a minute. You can ask that question because I never heard one Chelsea song, No. Well, let's just have a look at a couple more. Lachlan Onions saying here was totally worth staying up till 5 a.m. We've got either side. We've got Canada with Molina. We've got Australia with Lachlan. Welcome, mate. Yeah, I bet it was. I mean, I didn't go to sleep. I didn't go to sleep till about 4 a.m. and then I only had an hour. The old bladder wouldn't said, "You've drunk too much. Get up." You know those days when you suddenly think you've bought a waterbed, but you haven't. The FA Cup had me in bits more than winning the Prem. I cried at that as well, and I was there for the Prem, and that was the big difference. Was that you could be at the ground, and not all of us could be, obviously, at Wembley. Burnley fan, Cricket Field NTV. Congratulations, guys, well deserved. Bet you're as happy as the yes in yes, which you'll never forget with the loved ones as well. Bet you VAR man of the match for me. Got to be totally, I love VAR. Matthew cried all day long. Last time I cried so much, my little girl was born. Well, I hope that didn't happen yesterday while you were watching the game because they'd have had to just get on with it.
Otherwise, she's just been called Tillemans. I tell you what, there's a bunch of Belgian-named children today. Yeah. That come from Leicester if they were born last night.
There's a guy I do a Man United chat with, and he's called Keane. Hello. I think you might have done it with him as well. And I did say to him, I said, it's a good job your mum and dad weren't fans of Wan-Bissaka. Morning, Foxes. Morning, Sandra. Craig, I haven't forgotten you. I can see you. Just everybody's talking this morning. Morning, Chris. Still euphoric this morning. What a great team and owner we have. Yeah, we're gonna come along to that. Melina, you're brilliant. You're up so early for us. Last time I was up that early, it was called Morning Glory. I'll tell you. Here we go. Stephen Collins. So which cheeky are getting the tattoo on, Chris? Stephen, shush. I was hoping everybody had forgotten. Don't mention the tattoo. I mentioned it once. I think I got away with it. Ravenite FC. Only bad thing is I'm sick. Caught it off my dad's sore throat. You're okay. Right. Let that question that you asked. Hold on to it there. He was at Wembley yesterday. He is at Leicester today. He got home in one piece. Obviously, he couldn't drink because he was driving. So, did he get drunk when he got home? Let's ask him. Craig, hello, sir.
Hi, how you doing? Hi, Brad.
What have you got in your head?
You sound
it's one of the hats that was on the on the seats.
Oh, you got hats on the seats as well.
Everyone was given a hat and a scarf, and our owners look after them, all the fans, and there was a little gift bag on the seats. So yeah.
Just say, Dave, I can see you in the green room. I'll bring you in a second. The question, what was the question, Brad?
Yeah, Craig, you were there. You must have been able to see it. There's 22,000 fans in that, and all I could hear was you wonderful lot singing. Were Chelsea fans even in the ground?
It was, you know what? It was weird, Brad. It really was, because I think because they live local, they only seem to turn up in the last 10 minutes. You know, on Wembley Way, there was Leicester fans everywhere. It was absolutely amazing to hear little pockets of songs breaking out. You know, there was a big one on Wembley Way, and then there's a little area round the side that was all blocked off. And all of a sudden, you realise that all the coaches had arrived and all the singing started, and it was absolutely amazing. Chelsea fans, I don't know. I'm not sure if they were cardboard cutouts just to make them look like they were there, that they'd done it the same at Stamford Bridge. But I also listened to the BBC commentary back last night, and they commented on it as well. They said we are a little bit closer to the Leicester fans than the Chelsea fans, but you cannot hear the Chelsea fans singing. It's just Leicester. And I spoke to my daughter, who sadly couldn't make it. She said on the TV coverage, every time they showed fans, it was Leicester fans, because there was nothing to show from the Chelsea fans who just stood there or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. I think we just enjoyed being there. You know,
talking about singing. This is almost produced well this morning. We're talking about singing, and he may even give us a rendition of we're going to win the cup. I don't know. We can but hope. For those of us of a certain age like myself, if I said to you, Craig, and please don't let me down here, if I said to you, Under the Moon of Love, what would that bring to mind?
Well, obviously, Showaddywaddy.
Exactly. That's the word I'm looking for. And here he is. He was the lead singer of Showaddywaddy for many, many years. Dave Bartram. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I don't know
how are you doing.
I'm a bit hoarse.
You were watching it at the King Power, were you?
No, I was watching it at Wembley, mate.
Oh, you're at Wembley. Sorry. When you said you were at the because you said you were having a meal, I thought you were invited to the King Power.
No, that was at Wembley. That was in the atrium at Wembley with the Prawn Sandwich Brigade.
We are. We are with footballing fan royalty here.
No, I went down with the Birch, and I'm a friend John Holmes. So no, what an unbelievable day! Even being sat in the car park for about an hour and a half at the end of the game, it didn't matter. It was just amazing. The whole day, just
Chris,
and what a winning goal!
I just wanted to say. Yeah. I just wanted to say, Dave, I was listening to Talk Sport on the way back up the motorway, and they were playing songs from all Leicester bands. So they had Mark Morrison, Kasabian, and people were writing in. And clearly someone had passed a note to the presenter and said, right, the next one we're going to play is Showaddywaddy. Showaddywaddy, I think it is. She had to come on afterwards and apologise, because of course she knew who Showaddywaddy was. She couldn't read the note properly. Yeah.
I just want to say, even the professionals make cock-ups, because I was supposed to be on Talk Sport this afternoon. I ended up going on yesterday morning at 10 o'clock to fill in the gap, and then they asked me on at 8 o'clock last night. And the show didn't start till 8:30 because of the celebrations they were covering at Wembley. So it was all chaos yesterday, and that's the best way to have it. I just want to show you and then you can give your comments on this. But lots of tweets last night. This was one that came out from James Corden. And I'll just read it. I'm so happy for every LCFC fan and players. They are a brilliantly run football club from top to bottom. These scenes are what the European Super League wanted to destroy. This is a victory for football fans and the hope that lives inside all of us. Congratulations, Leicester. That's Brad, brilliant. First of all, I'll just come to you first, Brad. Yeah, I mean, that's it, isn't it?
Well, I've always been a big fan of James Corden. I was a big Gavin and Stacey fan, and he does make me laugh with his snippets he does on Saturday Night Live over there when I see him. Obviously, I don't watch that show because I'm not in America, but I've always been a big fan of him and what he does, and he's very much right. It felt like a collective victory for football. You know, we spoke after the game, both drunk and emotional, but with the same purpose behind it. It really did felt like a big victory for football, and there was a lot of fans of the neutrals and even Chelsea fans, may I add, and fair play to them, coming out and saying it was a very well-deserved victory and good on football, because it's just kept that message going. You know, that was, I said to you, didn't I, Chris, the ESL in the strangest way was the best thing that could happen to football, because it just showed that the fans can put the differences aside and reunite against a cause we don't stand for. And, you know, yet again, Leicester had to step up to the main role and be the little fairy tale hero. And here we are talking about how we're now FA Cup champions, and it's just brilliant to see the support.
Dave, I mean, I don't know about yourself. I mean, I've moved around the country a lot. Obviously, born and bred in Leicester, but with my job, I've moved up to Lancashire. I'm down in Dorset now. I've moved over, so I've got a lot of friends that aren't Leicester fans. And I've got like Melina on here, who's an Arsenal fan, and Ravenite there, you know, saying from a Liverpool fan, Chris, so happy for Brendan. I mean, I was getting so many good and well done from, you know, I mean, there wasn't many Chelsea ones. I think I got one off a Chelsea friend, but the congratulations I was getting from fans of other clubs that just, I think, wanted us to win, because we're still perceived as little Leicester, but it was almost like a win for football, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah. The ESL idea, I mean, fans of football was so against that. I mean, it's obscene. You know, Perez, the Real Madrid president, I mean, it is obscene. It's all about greed. Football won yesterday. And the whole country was supporting Leicester outside of southwest London. And that was incredible. And the never say die spirit of the lads. We didn't let anyone down. It was a day where football won. It was just incredible. I'm still buzzing now. I think I got up this. We didn't get out at 1 o'clock, and I've already watched it back 3 times.
I recorded it all yesterday on the BBC. I very rarely record live matches, but I thought, no, just in case. I mean, I don't know what. I don't think Craig's been to bed, and he's still buzzing, because there's no other excuse for wearing that hat, is there, Craig?
I'm still in the FA Cup winning spirit. I mean, just on that point as well, listening to TalkSport on the way back, there were so many fans ringing in from other clubs saying exactly the same, that it was a victory for football, and how well Leicester are run as a club, and the shots of the owner coming down. And, you know, it's just amazing. And you're right, the rest of football outside that top 6, and a lot of fans of the top 6, or the big 6, as they call themselves, were behind us, and it is, as you said, Dave, it was a victory for football.
Yeah, the strange thing was that the whole dynamic on the day was Chelsea turned up in tracksuits, which was kind of an insult to the competition, and you know, everyone in the stadium was saying, "Arrogant, you're going to get yours." And again, you know, football won. It's
I didn't really. I was doing the pre-match show with Brad. I didn't, and until I went in, and my son had got here, and he was sort of watching it on the TV, and he went, "Yeah, they've turned up in tracksuits, Dad." And I'm going, like, "You're joking?" You know, I mean, even looking back at, you know, the Spice Boys at Liverpool in the white suits, but at least they were in suits, weren't you know? It's
not gone. No,
Matthew says there he lives in Swindon, and the amount of support before the game, went out shopping in gym, etc., was unreal. You went shopping in the gym? Never. Okay, Matthew. Scott, good morning to you, Scott. Hope you're feeling better. You've not been well. Great news with the result of the test. Thank you, got back. And I should just say, before anybody wonders, it was a COVID test, not a VD test. So just, you know, Scott he's all right. But no, you're good, Scott. It's good to hear. So happy to see both Morgan and Schmeichel lift the cup. Very fitting. I must admit, when I saw Morgan on the bench, I thought, yeah, he's going to bring him on here, quite rightly as well. And I just hoped that he didn't come. I mean, I joked, we said about bringing him on in the 89th minute, and then I just hoped, because I expected him to. I didn't want him to do a John Terry, put the shirt on and then turn up. But Brad, it was great, and Schmeichel shared that moment with him, didn't he? Because Schmeichel had got the cup. He went over. He didn't get, and I was surprised he didn't get the captain's armband when he came on, and it was just the respect those two had for each other. One as a club captain that said, "No, you're the captain on the pitch, you stay in," and then the captain of the day saying, "Like, come on, you're the club captain, come and lift it with me."
Yeah, it just made that. Sorry. Oh yeah, everything about it was just a magical moment when you see, it was funny seeing a Villa fan have to hand it to a Leicester player. That was funny in William. that added a little bit extra to it, didn't it? And then you saw like you said, Casper go in. Come on, Morgs, get here. Yeah. There was no way he was not lifting that trophy without Wes Morgan's hands on it as well. And I said this to you, didn't I, when we rang Chris? I said there's you could add Vardy and Albright and Fuchs, etc. like this. They're all well deserving of it. There's no one above the other, but you just felt a little bit extra pride and happiness towards the likes of Albright and Vardy, Morgan, Fuchs and Casper, because they're the remaining souls, aren't they, from that Premier League side? They can officially say we've done both. We've won the Premier League and the FA Cup with Leicester. I know as a club they're going to remember it and enjoy us for years to come, but you just felt a little bit more pride, extra pride, should I say, not more pride, but extra pride when you saw them lifting it. He was like, go on lads, you really do deserve it. Like, they all deserved it on the day. And I think it was a nice touch. I don't know if they managed to get him down, but
no. Well, they presented to like the side of the pitch. Sorry, Brad. They presented the trophy to the side of the pitch when all the fans were down at one end. What worried me was whoever was stood behind Craig. I don't know if you saw it at all, because you were down the side. I think you may well have been, Dave. But when they actually lifted the trophy, whoever was stood behind Casper and Wes got a hell of a whack, because the top of the trophy went off behind them, and I think hit somebody on the head.
It did indeed, and I'm not sure how much on TV they showed of Kelechi Iheanacho as well, because he managed to get the base and was walking around with it on his head for a good 10 minutes, not holding it.
I know.
It was like he had a basket of fruit on his head. It was absolutely ridiculous. And just one thing, Chris, I think it's worth mentioning, the fact that I think this is the first time all season I've got the score prediction right. I just thought I'd get that in.
Hey. Well done. He had to get that one in, you see there. That's Brad's cuckoo clock, by the way. We wait for that every show.
It's perfectly timed to join in the show. Sorry, lads.
That's just to prove that we are live. But this, and I'm not going to lie, and I actually said, I think grown men cry at football matches. That's what defines us. But this, to me, is the picture that really sums up the whole of yesterday. Mm-hmm. That guy, and I was willing him to come down from the stands. I was like, come and join in. And finally, Dave, I think Casper went and got him and pulled down. And they said, on BT Sport, what other chairman, at the moment, olden days, it'd have been different, but what other chairman at the moment would have gone down, or A, would have been there, and B, would have gone down. And, he was lifting the trophy. He was tears in his eyes, praying to his dad. I mean, we owe those guys so much. And as I've put there, thank you from every Leicester City fan.
And he's such a gentle soul. He's just a lovely guy. Yeah, he really is. And he loved his dad to bits, obviously. And it's like you say, when he looked up to the sky and put his hands together, just magical.
Yes.
Magical.
It did bring, like you say, a tear. I mean, you could see he was crying on the pitch, and the way he went and he was hugging every player. I was so glad that he was down, he got onto that pitch to celebrate. They've done so much for this club. We now as a club, we're one of the few. We've won everything. In this country, in England, we've won the Premier League. we've won the League Cup, we've won the FA Cup, we've even got a Community Shield to our win. We've got to go now, haven't we, Craig, and conquer Europe?
We have. I mean, let's hope we don't want the full collection, because we've also got a League One winners' trophy, and I don't want us to get a League Two.
I was leaving the little trophies out of the out the window.
Time Charlie now, Chris. Yeah,
I'm a glory hunter. What can I say?
Yeah. That's the next thing, isn't it? And it may take us a few years to get close to winning a European trophy, but for Leicester City, just being in Europe on a regular basis is a great thing, and and that takes the club to the next level and you build. But there's no reason why we can't put a good performance next season. I think now we've had that experience of doing it this year.
Yeah. Well, if we can creep into the Champions League, then you can attract great players. You can attract the top players, and we could wind up with a really, really fantastic squad next season. And
it's scary where we could go.
And the thing is, it's put that bottlers. Yeah, and it's put that bottlers thing right in a drawer, hasn't it? That won't be for a while now. That won't be.
Yeah, we've got to nick a draw on Tuesday. Nick a draw on Tuesday and beat Spurs.
And we get corner flags, lads. So let's get used to seeing them in the stadiums. We're going to have little corners for our flags on the corners now. I can officially say that.
Right, we're going to get another guest in. I'm just going to take a quick 10-second break, and we'll be right back after this, and we'll bring Barrie Pierpoint in.
Leicester Till I Die TV, your first choice for everything Leicester City. Tune in and join in now.
Good morning.
Good morning, Barrie.
Did that work? I always say it never works at this end. Good morning, Barrie. Welcome along.
Morning to you. Welcome, everybody. Nice to see you all. You all look smiling. Your eyes are all open, or not, or sort of slightly open a bit. I think most of you had a good sleep, or you've not gone to sleep.
I tell you what, I was speaking to Brad last night, wasn't I, Brad? I did a video, I shocked him and did a video call, and thank God he'd got dressed, because he wasn't dressed when he did the show before. But we were, I think we were gone. I think you were worse than me though, Brad.
Fine, I can't hear it. It's signals a bit.
Oh, basically, I spoke to Brad last night, and he was rather he consumed a lot of the old falling down water.
Yeah, I'm thankful for my Jesus powers, because I'm fine this morning. I recovered myself before I went to sleep. So, but yeah, well, I haven't. I like I said to you, I drank and got more emotional than when we won the league, because it sort of hit me at a point where I kind of went, when we won the league, there was always that game, wasn't there? Whether it was the Man City game or Liverpool game, or whichever game it went in your head, you thought this, Leicester are actually going to win the league. Whereas the FA Cup, it's never a thing you get overconfident about at any stage. And when it got down to the last 10 minutes, that's when it really hit me that, shit, we actually might actually do this. We might end the wait for the FA Cup. And when we did, my mate before a game didn't expect me to live up to it, said to me, go and run out in the street and celebrate. Well, I did. And I made sure Haywood, where I live, knew that Leicester were the champions of the FA Cup. And I had a hell of a night.
But the drama was incredible, wasn't it?
Just an occasion.
Playing a pantomime villain.
Yeah, I mean, Barrie, I just want to ask you, as sort of the business side of the club, if you like, where can this take Leicester now as a club on the back of winning, which is probably sort of the biggest cup trophy in the world?
Well, I think Leicester's got a lot of potential, and I think the owners have taken this club a great pace from when I used to be at the club years ago. I mean, these owners, the people respect them, the fans respect them, the manager respects them, the players respect them. It's not like some owners where everybody's on the owners' backs, who are only there for taking money out of the club. These people have put so much money in. I actually think Leicester now can be the top club in the UK. Never mind Manchester United, Manchester City. I think the way things are going, I think we've got a great opportunity now to be the kingpin, the king power.
Dave, I mean, the Premier League got us a whole new breed of fans from around the world, and success brings these other fans in. But the FA Cup can just do the same, can't it? Because it is it's watched literally in every corner of the world.
But when you see what happened yesterday, I mean, the entire day was just full of glory. It was just an absolutely spectacular day. And anyone that says we should be prioritising the Champions League, we're wrong. You know, we might get both. You know, we've got a hell of a chance of getting both. But what a season that would turn out to be.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, at the end of the day, I go back to saying this is all about football. It's not really about money. Leicester is a superbly run club. You know, the CEO, Susan Whelan, she's a wonderful woman, and she works tirelessly. You know, these people, our whole administration, it has to be the best it's ever been. It's so harmonious. It's just wonderful.
You didn't mean that, Barrie.
I used to buy your records.
I'm in no way am I disparaging you, Barrie, but some of the people you were underneath, mate.
Thank you.
I think we better stop that now before we have a fight in the room. You know, but Craig, as Dave alluded to there, we could finish top four, and everybody's saying like, "Oh, if you don't finish top four, you're going to lose all your best players because they want Champions League football." I mean, we're guaranteed Europa League, whatever happens now, but. Yeah. Even if we don't make top four as FA Cup winners, they're not going to. You know, we're going to hold on to our players still, aren't we? Because it's still a big thing.
Yeah, I think so. I can assure you that after that goal went in yesterday, there was nobody in the Leicester end of that crowd who were hoping that we would get top four over an FA Cup. That was, you know, the emotion of the day showed you how important it was to actually win that, and. You know, and you saw the togetherness of the players afterwards. And I think that was really important that everybody was involved. And there was a great shot. Again, I don't know if they showed it on TV, where all of the backroom staff and all of the players were there sharing that moment. And there was a big photograph of all the backroom staff taken. Yeah. Everybody was down there on the pitch. And it is, and everybody says it's such a fantastically well-run club, and everybody from the bottom to the top is as important as anyone else in that club. And I think people and players feel part of that. And, you know, there may be, you can't guarantee that somebody won't get sold if somebody comes in with an amazing offer. But, you know, the crux of that club is there, and the players all buy into what they're trying to do. And I think that trophy just sort of shows them that there are even better days to come.
It's tough, though, isn't it? When you've got players like Yuri Tielemans and Fofana, these are world-class players. They are just incredible players. We've got to keep achieving to hang on to those players.
Yeah.
I agree there, Dave. But Brad, do not think like we're never going to not sell a player. Let's be honest with you. There's a hierarchy on these things, and Man United lose players to Real Madrid, and you know it goes down, but. And I think we've mentioned this before. Like, you know, I've been on Man United and Arsenal and Spurs channels recently, and they're after Rodgers, they're after players. You know, my question was, why would A, they want to go, but Brad, B, if you want them, you're going to have to pay because we don't need to sell.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We've proven time and time again when we've sold these players that we can sell them for a fee if they want to leave. And I would beg the question, if you were an Arsenal, whoever does the business for Arsenal in the transfer windows, if you're the manager or whoever that does it, or even Chelsea, you know, and club of that sort of stature is ringing Leicester's door, first off, you're probably going to get told, go away, we're hungover. And secondly, you're going to get, you know, you might be ringing someone's agent or them directly, and they're going to say, do you want to come to Chelsea? We're willing to pay whatever Leicester value at. And they go, why would that player might come out and go, but I don't want to leave. I don't care if they're offering you 80, 90, 100 million. I'm well happy here because you keep delivering what you're asking. You know, the owner said Europe in 5 years. They more than achieved that. Yeah, you know, they said now the next step was silverware of the next 2 or 3 years. Rodgers has brought that with this group of players has done that this season. If they've been turned around and said, right now, the next 2 to 3 years, 3 seasons is top 4 and try and go as far in Europe as possible, I don't see why these players, even if Leicester went, let's just say they said, Wesley Fofana, you can have him if you pay 140 million. Wesley Fofana would probably could potentially turn around and go, I don't want to go. So just say I'm not for sale, Gaffer, because I don't want to go.
What it showed yesterday,
and that's just brilliant.
Yeah, what it showed yesterday is that you can win trophies at Leicester City, and I mean, Wes Fofana's been here 1 season and he's already won more than Harry Kane. That's the reality of it. This is such a well-run club that's moving in the right direction.
But not only that, we're winning trophies without some of our best players. Obviously Evans had to go off, JJ not playing, Harvey Barnes. These are fantastic players. These are incredible players. The future of our club is.
Speaking of Evans, we completed his journey, didn't we? We completed Evans' journey because he'd never won the FA Cup. So that's exactly what made it even better, because every player they got interviewed or they managed to grab hold of yesterday was singing the exact same, the exact same hymn sheet that we are. It's what the club, it's what they were sold on.
Yeah. They'll reiterate, and it wasn't about greed.
It's what they were sold as a sign, and it's just getting lived up to more and more each week.
Barry, if you were Jamie Vardy's agent, would you be knocking on somebody's door now saying, come on, mate, the film, this is it now. He's won. He's gone from, he's the only player to have ever played in every single round, including qualifying of the FA Cup. He's won trophies. He's played for England. You'd be knocking on producers' doors, wouldn't you, Barry?
Well, you could be, but if the player doesn't want to be in that particular situation, then it's down to him, isn't it? Really, I mean, Jamie Vardy to me looks, quite a shy sort of character compared to other people, and he might not want to be. I mean, his missus was in the Dancing on Ice thing, wasn't she? She likes to. Have the limelight. I'm not quite sure whether Jamie's that sort of guy.
Do you mean the shy and retiring Rebecca? Do you mean?
Well, she wasn't shy and retiring. Rebecca was very outright, and I like her style, to be honest.
Just a little.
You tend to find that the one's outward and one's slightly not so outward, and I think Jamie's a bit more quieter. I mean, if somebody came up and said to Jamie, there's £10 million to do something, a film or something, then he might consider it. But then, does he want the money? And is it all about money? It's about himself, and it's about what he feels comfortable doing. Really, at the end of the day.
Had it been about money, he would have gone to Arsenal.
Well, he could have gone anywhere. But I was thinking of, I'm listening to the conversation when we were just talking about teams. Well, this club's got so much harmony and so much, friendliness, and everybody's playing for each other and helping each other. Whereas you go to some football clubs and some teams, and they're each other's throat behind the scenes, and there's always some smart aleck or smart arse, I was going to say, who thinks they're better than everybody else. Leicester seems to play very well together as a good team. They seem to work for each other. They work for the manager, and they certainly work for the owners. And that came across very loud and clear yesterday. And I felt sorry for the owner who sat on his own there with his mask on. I felt like crying for him, because he sat there on his own and watching it all. And I think he was so, I just think it was so great to see him. And it was nice to see him come down on the pitch afterwards and pick up the cup as well. And it was a great feeling for a guy like that, and particularly, it's sad about his father not being able to be there to see that, sort of memorable occasion yesterday. It was so sad, and I sat there and thought about that really deep, I was.
I think we said earlier, I think the fact that Casper went and got him onto the pitch was that was another sort of tear in the eye moment. But Craig, I'll come to you on this one, and we've got away to Chelsea now. There's no fans going to be there. Well, there's going to be Chelsea fans there because it's their last home game. The week after that, we've got Tottenham, and we're going to have fans in, and that's going to be the first time we're probably going to be able to parade the cup in front of any fans. And oh, what a shame, it's in front of Tottenham. Do you think we should let Tottenham just hold it up so they just know how it feels to actually have a trophy?
I don't think they know what the trophy looks like.
Yeah, I'm sure the moment won't be lost on a lot of those Spurs players. They've been trailing in our wake since we won the league, haven't we? But it's going to be great for fans to be back in there. And you know what? It could come down to that game, and those 8,000 fans or whatever may have a massive role to play in us getting over the line in that game. So it's going to be a fantastic atmosphere for anybody who's there, and it'll be great. Hopefully it won't be the last time the FA Cup's paraded. Hopefully they'll do it when we're all back in the stadium next season.
Brad will know if I say a certain Tottenham fan called Ryan. I've had a few run-ins with. But in fairness to the guy, and I've not replied yet, in fairness to the guy, he actually did send me a well-done message this morning. So I'm going to have to take my hats off to him and say, cheers, Ryan. Thanks for that. But Brad, if you were there, would you not be starting a chorus of "We're Still Waiting for You"?
Oh, yeah, I definitely would. I'd be, it's like, when you see on the movies and like a horror movie, and they all chase off, don't they? And the last thing you knew, your mate was chasing you. He was behind you. And you turn around and go, "Where is he?" And I'd be like, "Well, where are you, Spurs? Because we're even further ahead of you now." I mean, going back to that top six comment, someone threw it up earlier. Ironically, a Tottenham fan threw it up earlier and went, "The disrespect shown to Leicester in the paper is they've got the big six and how many trophies they'd won. Tottenham, 0. And he's like, there's a club called Leicester that have won 2 trophies. How are they not on this list now? And it's like, you, Needy, you hate it so much, don't you? And it just makes it better, doesn't it?
We weren't in the six to join the ESL because we didn't have enough debt. That's the only reason that was.
That's what we made the mistake of being run properly, did we? Right, all right, fair enough then.
We're going to. We've actually not even touched on.
They knew they were getting those straight off the bat anyway, wouldn't they?
Yeah, exactly.
I think they knew.
We've not actually touched on the match yet, but I just want to say to everybody, man of the match, it's got to be whoever he was looking after the VAR, hasn't it? And anybody can come in on that one. But this morning we love VAR.
That's kind of funny, isn't it?
I don't know what it was like on the TV, but Dave, you were there. It seemed an age for the actual announcement that it was going to VAR to go up on the board. They'd done the whole celebration. Chilwell had done his knee slide into the crowd. All the Leicester fans were sort of looking dejected. And it seemed to be a good minute before it came up on the board that there was actually a VAR check going on. And I tell you what, I'm not sure which was the loudest cheer, whether it was for the VAR and the goal being disallowed or our goal.
Trust me, lads, the loudest cheer was from VAR. Coming on saying it wasn't a goal. Honestly, the difference was Chelsea fans, when they scored, it was like, yeah. And when the VAR and you saw the referee point and do that, and fans noticed that as a sign as the decision's gone their way, it was yes, and you could hear such a difference. Chelsea, it was ridiculous. And that was at the Chelsea end. You know what I mean? It weren't like you scored. It weren't like Chelsea scored where you guys were sat at your end. It was in their end, and you really couldn't hear them. So just credit to you, those that went and you guys that were there cheering, because you made it sound like a full stadium. Yeah, honestly,
Dave had to spit his prawn sandwich out, didn't you, Dave, from cheer?
The strange thing when the VAR, it didn't seem that long to me actually, because I just sat with my head in my hands, because I honestly I just couldn't believe that it was Chilwell that had scored. Yeah. I thought, oh no, because we'd booed his every touch, and then he turns pantomime villain and gets the equaliser. But so it actually passed pretty quickly, and as you say, when the decision was reversed, the stadium, Jesus. What would it have been like if there'd been 90,000 in there? My goodness.
Yeah. I mean, I got to be honest with you. It was that far towards the end of the game that I was doing my normal, like I said earlier, get up and go and have a walk somewhere. And I was actually in the toilet when my son shouted, "Oh no, Dad! They've scored!" And I must admit, I've got to go back in this morning and clean the mess up. But I actually came out and he said, "Oh, I don't know." And they were saying on the TV. I mean, I was watching BBC. I don't know if you saw you were watching BBC, but whether you noticed almost straight away they questioned the offside, and when you looked at it, you thought if they stick to how they've been all season, it's offside. But if they're going to be different because it's the FA Cup, that would be totally wrong. But Barrie, I mean, it was like, well, like you say, I was dancing more than I was dancing for the goal. It was, and to be so close because we'd taken all our strikers off and they'd put all their attacking players on.
Yeah, what was going on for the moment? It sort of.
Sorry, who was that to?
A bit distorted.
That was to Barrie. Sorry, Dave.
Yeah, I was a bit not sure what was going on. It was a bit distorted at first. What had happened? So I was just sitting there waiting. And I thought, oh no, 88th minute, and here we've got an equaliser. And I thought, gosh, this is not going to go our way. And then all of a sudden, the result came up on the screen that it was not allowed. So I was brilliant, and I shot myself. I think, really, to be honest. It felt it was about.
I think we all had odd bowel movements yesterday, didn't we? But, yeah, Craig. I mean, you what was it? I mean, we've all sat here, watched it on the telly, waiting for VAR, and players don't celebrate. But VAR at the other end when we scored our goal, and they were saying a possible handball.
Yeah,
but I didn't see anything come up for that. But they obviously did check it. Did anything come up in the stadium for that one?
No, I don't know if you saw anything, Dave, but I didn't see anything. It seemed to be fairly quick. There was that delay, and you knew something might have happened with the fact that I think a few of the Chelsea players ran to the ref and were hitting their arm. But nothing came up on the board, so I think it was checked fairly quickly. But
it's every game. These so-called ESL clubs, every game. Solskjaer said when we scored the winner the other night, it wasn't a corner. Now I think the linesman's a bit closer than him.
Yes.
I don't know. There's always a gripe from the so-called top managers. But very rarely from Rodgers, who is now one of the very top managers. The top manager.
Yeah, absolutely. He is. I think he's been. I mean, I did a show, Dave, and it was an Arsenal show and a Spurs show, and they're both obviously. Well, Arsenal want Arteta out. Spurs haven't got a manager, and I said to them both, why? Tell me just why would he go? What's he going to get at Arsenal, and what's he going to get at Tottenham that Leicester can't give him?
Well, they're poison chalices, aren't they, those clubs? They're poison chalices. You can't win. A couple of bad results. You're going to go there. After your head.
Yes.
It's almost like the Watford job, isn't it? You remember with the Watford job, the merry-go-round there, you wouldn't want that. I said that a couple of seasons ago, you wouldn't want that job because it's exactly the same. Like Dave just said, it's a merry-go-round of poison chalice.
Yeah. That said, I mean, at Leicester, we did go through a few ourselves at one point, didn't we? But we'll gloss over that. I mean, Brendan's come in, and when Claudio won the league, Craig, I'll come to you with this one. When Claudio won the league, a lot of that, and he doesn't really get the credit he deserves, but Nigel Pearson put the foundations in for that.
And I think
in a little shaky and that whole team, I don't think Claudio wouldn't have won it if they hadn't done what they'd done before. And in fairness to Puel, and as much as we kind of slate him, and it wasn't good football, we were mid-table mediocrity, but he did start things off a little bit, didn't he, Craig?
He did. I thought, I know it's easy to say in hindsight, but at the time I thought he was a little bit hard done to be honest, because he did try and change the style of play. We had to. People had worked us out after winning the league that we were just going to play on the break. So he did bring a different kind of football to us, and who knows what would have happened if he'd have been given more time. But football's like that, and our owners, you've got to say that they rarely make a wrong decision when it comes to management, and sometimes it can seem a little bit ruthless with what they did with Ranieri, but history will show that they've made the right decisions at the right time, and that's a mark of great management. But yeah, Puel started this journey in terms of trying to get us to be a more possession kind of team, and obviously Brendan's just carried it on and taken it to the next level.
He certainly has. Barrie and Dave, I'm going to let you go, but thanks so much for coming in. It's been a pleasure to have you both. Dave, unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to. However much I beg, I don't think he's going to give us a rendition of "We Are the Champions." But
as I say, I'm a bit hoarse after the event.
Yeah. That old excuse. You know.
And I hope I'm eating more horse. This time next week we're in the Champions League.
Yeah.
Hey, fingers crossed. We'll have you back if we do it. We'll have you back on. And Barrie, as always, it's a pleasure. And in the post Tottenham game, we'll give you a book a plug again. And don't forget, Barrie's got a book out. We're going to give away a free copy on the post match on Tottenham on the last day. So tune in for that. Barrie and Dave, thanks very much, guys, for joining us. Go and enjoy your Sunday. Bye. And I'm sure you'll have the odd drink. Take care, guys. Thank you. Thanks to both of them. I'm going to be a bit easy now. They're just three, but I'm going to talk about the match a little bit now. There was no other. Alan, who does my match stats, he always sort of goes straight after the game. He was down at the match yesterday. He managed to get a ticket as well. And he said to me, I said, really, really sorry, I've only just got out. I said, I presume you go in 10-10 and Tillemans or Vardy, Tillemans or Schmeichel. And he went, yeah, 10-10 Tillemans. I mean, it was that. You couldn't give anything less, could you, Craig?
No, he was. He showed his class during that game. Even watching it back, I came back as soon as I got home. You sort of put the TV coverage on that I recorded, and we was watching it back, and everybody was just pointing out, pulling out his best bits, and and a lot of the stuff that didn't come off. The little chip in for Vardy, but some of his passing and even his movement off the ball. We saw it against Man United. And in the last game when at Man United, sorry, he's an intelligent player, and those players have that little bit extra. They see the game, they see it ahead of everyone else. So it's not just his technical ability, but he's just a very intelligent footballer, and we're lucky to have him, and we need to enjoy him while we've got him, because I'm sure. There'll be a few clubs, and I'm not just talking in this country, that will be looking at Tillemans. So,
yeah.
But you can see that, Brendan puts him out there as his man on the field. He does direct it. And
would you liken him? Well, I don't know, Craig. Maybe to a quarterback.
It's almost like I've said that before, isn't it? Yeah.
I don't know where. I have heard it before. I'm not sure where. But yeah, but Brad, we spoke last night, and you probably don't remember it. You were worse than me, but for me, yeah, Tillemans, great game. For me, Casper, I mean, he pulled off a couple of the most amazing saves, world class. I mean, Mount, the look on his face after he saved that, he thought it was in.
I think there wasn't a person out there that didn't think that was in. I mean, the fact that even the pundits on the show afterwards said, we've seen one of the best goals in the FA Cup final, and we've no doubt seen the save of the FA Cup final. Yeah. And I think that save, obviously we know what happened afterwards with the old Chilwell fiasco, but that was probably that first point that my brain kind of went, that's it. That save has just told me we're going to do it, because if he's saving stuff like that, that's Casper's way of saying you're not getting past me today. And in the end, with a little help from our VR friend, we got there. He didn't concede. That thou shall not score, and we're here with smiles on our faces, in situation, and it's just great. I said I thought I understood how it would feel to win the FA Cup, and say sods to the league table, and now I do understand it. I get it. I get where it's all coming from now. I 100% get why fans were going, we don't care if we finish fifth, as long as we get this job done today, and they did yesterday when they did it done. And I just understand it now. I understand that prestigious competition, to win it is so much more important.
Yeah.
So we'll cover
and I will come back.
Well,
that leads me very nicely into the next question. But if you want to go and get your charger, Brad, it's a bit longer than 10 seconds, this one, but we'll be back after a few minutes. And if you're wondering what I was doing at 4 o'clock this morning when I couldn't sleep, I'm amazed it came out as well as that. Craig, I mean, look at this.
Yeah, well put together, mate.
Cheers. I mean, I could have gone on and on and on. You could have had a 20-minute thing there. I had to sort of pick out some of my favourite pictures. But, I mean, the look on people's faces and on the players' faces. I mean, and Vardy at the end when he was jumping into the circle and I just love this club so much.
It was amazing, that, as I said, touched on before, that the camaraderie and the fact that everybody's in that together, and it was just great. And I think for them, maybe they'll think about it more this morning or in weeks and years to come. The fact that they actually got to share that with some fans, I think made that even more poignant for the fans who were there, but also for the players. It'll mean a lot more. Imagine winning it is great, but imagine winning it in an empty stadium. That would have felt a little bit hollow, I think, like Liverpool when they had to lift the Premier League trophy in an empty stadium. I think the fact that the fans were there, that will give them memories that they may not have had if it was an empty stadium.
I mean, Brad, all credit to everybody that was there. We said this last night. The noise. I mean, we didn't hear Chelsea fans, did we? You wouldn't have known. Listening to that, you wouldn't have known that there was only was it 21,000 in a 90,000 seat stadium? You wouldn't have known, would you? It was just the crowd. The Leicester fans were so good and so vocal.
Yeah, they were. Like we said, wasn't even biased. I had it on the telly, and I don't recall hearing a Chelsea murmur, let alone a chant from them. Honestly, I didn't hear it. All I could hear was you guys singing away. And you know what was really good is to a point, especially when that whistle went and the celebrations and obviously the players came over to the fans, you could hear the giddiness of excitement and joy in even the pundit's voice going, look at what's going on, compare it to last season, no fan, this is brilliant, it's amazing. And that didn't help my emotions. I was always bubbling as I was then when I started going, it is. But it just, you couldn't, well, you could have asked for maybe like 90,000 Leicester fans in there for the moment, but you give everything that's gone on over the last 18, 24 months, it's could not have happened any better for Leicester to go and win that FA Cup, and that it'd be their first, because it'll forever be known as the first FA Cup, technically post COVID, for having fans in the ground. It'll be the first biggest. That's the biggest success. Hopefully, fingers crossed, because I think they're doing some retests to see how you guys did in the stadium. I don't know if you've been told any different, Craig, but apparently the plan is to get everybody that went tested now again, so they can see that there was no contraction or anything. And that's just again, it's just another big win for football. And I you know what I mean, when you want to write a story, you're in control of what does it. Leicester haven't been in control of being a part of it, and they've just somehow over the last 5 or 6 years found themselves a very big part of the football journey. And it's just for once, I'm speechless, Chris. I can't
no,
words. I know I'm speechless enough. This isn't going to be a half-hour answer. But you know what I mean. I can't find enough words to describe how amazing it feels and how amazing it must have felt being there for you, Craig. It's just phenomenal to be a part of it.
Yeah, it'll live long in the memory. You know, the Premier League was amazing, and that sort of was played out over a period of time. So you almost got used to it, and we all had that euphoric moment when Eden Hazard scored, and we realised we'd won it, and then we had the moment when the trophy was lifted at the Everton game. But that sort of 95 minutes was a real roller coaster of every emotion that you can imagine. And I don't know what other people feel like. You know, there was a lot of people that in tears, but for me, the most emotional bit was almost like the 10 minutes after we'd scored, that we'd actually got ourselves in front, and you realise that this could actually be happening. We could actually win the FA Cup. And that 10 minutes was like so emotional that you realised it seemed to be that game where whoever got the first goal was going to go on and win it. You know, it wasn't a game of loads of chances. So when you nudged yourself in front, the emotions for the next 10 minutes of the reality happening was just incredible.
I'm just going to read this. This was from a friend I've got, Jane in Australia, when I stayed with when I went out there. And she goes, "How are you doing, Foz? What's new in Blighty?" And I replied, "We won the FA Cup." And she went, "Really? You didn't mention anything." I think I posted more on my personal Facebook yesterday than I have in like 2 hours than I had done in like 2 months previous to that. But I mean, it's great because I touched this before, and I'm going to have to touch on it again. You know, I mean, I've got a friend who's a Chelsea fan, and even he was on there saying, "Well done, mate. You know, it's a great win." But there was, I mean, I had a Southampton fan who's a good mate. I said, well, at least you went out to the winners. You know, there was, you know, Ryan, the Tottenham fan. And we were everybody's neutral's choice, weren't we, Brad? And it's, like I said, and I know I mentioned this earlier, but I'm going to have to mention it again. It was a win for football.
Yeah, you're right. Keep mentioning it, mate, because that's exactly what it is. I couldn't be more prouder to be a part of this story. You know when we won the league, you know, all the media prosperity was 50, 60, 70 years down the line. Leicester fans will be able to list off every player that played in that moment, and we'll be talking about it for years to come. Yeah. The fact that part two of that journey, if you want, it still involves Leicester, and we're still that point where people are saying they've done it again. They're standing up for football and doing what we're doing. It's just brilliant. And, you know, like I said, fans around the world, from different clubs. You know, we've got our following has just got even a bit more recognition, hasn't it? You know, because, you know, like I said, it's 140 years this competition is, and Leicester have been around for 137 of them, I believe, if my maths is right, or what I was told as well is right. So to be at a point in football when it's really needed a pick-up, and some, you know, not just the voice of the fans, but it's needed a team to go out there and stand out there and do what hasn't been done since Wigan did it. It just makes it even more special, doesn't it? Yeah, you know, we were the new name on the Premier League trophy, you know, now with a new name to go on the FA Cup, and it just felt so good, and you could feel it everywhere. Like even Ashley Cole, Ashley Cole, he couldn't help but have a smile and go, you know what, I'm gutted because I'm Chelsea, but how much he was loyal to Chelsea, being as it was Arsenal, Chelsea, I don't know. But still, you know, he played for him and he went, but fair play. And the fact that you even got away fans who normally would use every excuse under the sun for not winning the game, when you outdid us, fair play. And that just worked, doesn't it?
You know my feelings regarding a certain Mr. Lineker, but, you know, when they were playing it back at the end and his reaction when they scored, and I'm going to go, he doesn't hide his bias. You know, he's a Leicester fan when he's presenting, and it was great to see. But I've got to ask you, Craig, when they won the Premier League trophy, all the players got a brand new, amazing top of the range car. What is he going to give him for this?
They probably get an electric version of the same thing, I think.
You've got to have more than one car as a Premier League footballer, haven't you?
Exactly. Who knows, Chris? Maybe they'll be like the host of a very popular online show and get a tattoo as well.
Stop mentioning the tattoo. I'm trying to forget that.
What's that? That tattoo, Chris. I remember what you're saying, though, Craig. Yeah, we got to remember that.
You were drunk. You were.
There was one thing yesterday. I don't know if it was picked up by the TV cameras, but I've had a look at Twitter this morning, and I noticed that Hamza Chowdhury was trending this morning in the UK. And he went into the crowd and he picked up a Palestine flag. We're talking about our club being on a bigger scale. He picked out a Palestine flag out of the crowd and he held it up with Wesley Fofana. And those pictures have gone around the world. And I noticed there's a letter that's been written by the Palestinian ambassador to the UK to the football club, thanking Hamza Chowdhury and Wesley Fofana for taking that moment to bring the Palestine crisis to a broader audience. And it's just, that even in those moments where we're thinking on a different scale, and the love of our club just goes around the world, that we're seen as this, respectful club and just broadening our fan base all around the world.
I mean, respect to Hamza for that. He's got a bit of a reputation with Leicester fans for his partying and his breaking of rules. But, the sad thing to say on that, and I don't allow racism in Leicester till I die, and we try and stop it before it even appears. But if it appears, we take action and we kick people out if necessary. But I don't post anything that shows race, that points out racism, because it just starts off a racism argument amongst fans. But apparently some of our players were getting racial abuse this morning, and I'm thinking, like, when are these Neanderthals gonna go and do a meerkat and just jump off that cliff? Because it's they'll still be taking the knee in 10 years. I wish it would make a difference. I really, really do. But these guys, I'm not going to say what I'm going to say, because if I do, YouTube would ban the video. But it's just disgusting, isn't it?
Mm.
Oh, definitely.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, but guys, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for putting up with the hangover and still coming on, Brad. And I'm going before anybody mentions the tattoo again.
Remember, guys, just bombard him in the comments. Just get your comments, and Chris has got to remember the tattoo. He's got to hold up plan.
We will see.
I was smart. I said I'm drunk and off camera, you see, so he's got no proof that I said what I said. So.
Do you reckon I was recording that Facebook chat last night and you've no idea, you can't remember what you said? I have actually just remembered one quick question for you guys, and we'll come to Craig first and then to Brad. And I won't say give me a quick answer, because I know it won't be. But if we now don't make the top four, we're guaranteed top five, because West Ham's result last night meant that they can't catch us now. So we're guaranteed top five.
And
if we don't make the top four, we've won. Is it a disappointing? It's not a disappointing season, but it won't be. It's not a failure still, is it?
No, I mean, all you look for year on year is progression. We've got more points. Whether we're a position higher in the table, that isn't purely down to us. We've got more points than we had last season. We've had a European campaign, and we've won the FA Cup for the first time in the club's history. Yeah. I think there will be a tinge of disappointment, only because we've been in the top four. But when you step back and look at the season as a whole, it's been a phenomenally successful season.
Yeah. Brad, statue for Rodgers next to one for Ranieri?
I get statues for all of them. These achievements need to be, put in a place that you can remember them forevermore. You know, and you know what? Something that's really funny. You know, you want to look into it maybe a little bit, but Brendan Rodgers is only the second ever manager to go and win the Scottish and Premier League and the English FA Cup. The other one, Sir Alex Ferguson.
Yes.
And now I'm not saying he might bring the same success, but it's just a little tip to the cap of what he's achieved, because he did it in the farmers market and now he's done it in a real division.
Yes.
You know, so good on him, you know, good on Brendan Rodgers. And that was another thing, weren't it? Because he got his monkey off the back after what happened with Liverpool. Yeah. Oh, well, bottlers for bottlers, people were saying, as you know, after the last season and whatnot. So this season, it just makes it even more better, because the team have gone a big middle finger to those that said, bottlers, you won't win it because you're bottlers, and you won't make top four because you're bottlers. You know, like Craig said, yeah, sure, a twin's a disappointment, but I ain't going to cry over spilt milk if we come fifth, because at the end of the day, like I said to you, Chris, if you ask me in August, we'll take any kind of trophy that isn't the league and come European positions. I just snapped your hand off before kickoff of the season, let alone last night. So yeah, I'm as delighted as everybody, and we can't go no lower than fifth. And like Craig says, we've got more points. So even if we were fifth again, it's still improvement without the FA Cup. It's still an improved season.
I'm just going to mention this as the last thing. It's been posted a few times. I keep deleting it because it has already gone in the group. But the meme that's going round of the Bullseye picture. Who's the guy that used to host Bullseye? Jim Bowen. Jim Bowen and Ben Chilwell with the FA Cup going, never mind, Ben, now look at what you could have won. Hey, that is the one to end on. Guys, thanks very much. I will see you, Craig, tomorrow at 7 for the preview. Believe it or not, I think we're playing Chelsea again. Could be interesting. Yeah. And we're gonna have a Chelsea fan on board for that. So that could be. I was going to maybe get a Chelsea fan on this morning, but to be honest with you, I thought it's probably not really fair on them. You know, like Tony said, let's have the same result on Tuesday, lads. But and I'll see you Tuesday night, hopefully, Brad, for the post match when maybe we've all sobered up a little bit.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Let's hope we're just cheering the same thing. And do you know what's funny? Yeah. We turned around, all three of us have turned around either on the preview or the post-match shows, didn't we? What did we say after the Newcastle game? Wouldn't it be typical of Leicester to go on and beat United, beat Chelsea and do that? Half the job's done. We just got to do the other half. Wouldn't that be an even better way after all the stick, Leicester got from the media after that defeat?
I tell you, if we finish top four, I can't see anyone else getting manager of the year either.
No, he does.
Has it been decided? I think it's already. Is it not already Pep?
I think Pep's already got it, and I think that's ridiculous. I can never understand why clubs can award goal of the season or X, whatever. Because things happen in such a dramatic way that you want to give it to someone else. And if he finishes third or fourth and wins the FA Cup, and especially if Man City don't win the Champions League, you're thinking you just gave it to a manager who won his own pissing cup, i.e. the League Cup and the Premier League. Leicester weren't expecting top four or FA Cup and they've done both. Yeah, there's my logic. But he's our manager of the year, isn't he, in our head? And
how often did Alex Ferguson win it just by winning the Premier League when there's managers that, that get, last year it was Klopp. Yeah, he did rather well, but, was Wilder. Didn't he do a better job at Sheffield United last season? But hey, there we go. Like you say, Brendan is our manager of the year. There he is. He's going nowhere, guys. Arsenal and Spurs take a long walk off a short pier. He's our manager. He's here for a bit longer yet. We are FA Cup winners, guys, one and all. Thanks so much for coming on this morning. Craig, I know you're probably as tired as hell. Brad, you probably got the hangover from Jesus.
Surprisingly not. I think the win cured me because I was expecting a hell of a hangover this morning. I'm so surprised I've not. It might kick in later on. Maybe it's kept off until I've done this.
I'm off to edit the video from last night when I was up. I think I was drunk on the Arsenal fan, and then I'm going to order a takeaway and I'm going to replay the game and have a great time, guys. See you next week. It's nearly over. We are FA Cup winners.
Yes.
Thanks a lot, guys. Take care. Thanks for coming in. Cheers.
Take care. Bye,
everyone.
See ya.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave that there for a second. FA Cup winners 2021. And you know what? We do owe so much to this guy. I never thought, as a Leicester fan, when I had my children, my eldest is the biggest Leicester fan with me. He comes to the games, he comes and watches them on TV. We did the 7-hour return journeys every week with The Great Escape. My biggest moment up until before that was the Man United 5-3, and it was a moment when you can say, I was with my son. He wasn't able to get to the Everton game when we had the trophy presented for various reasons. He was in the middle of his university work, but this guy here and his dad gave me a moment when I was watching my team in a quarter-final of the Champions League. More importantly with that, I was with my son watching the quarter-final of the Champions League. And last night, my son texted me afterwards, and he basically said, "Dad, it was great not just to win it, but to be there with you when we won it." And that's... Do you know what? It says it all. And, I'm just going to leave you with that, because I can't. I'm going to get all emotional again, and I'm going to hit the road. Don't forget, guys, please give us a subscribe. It would be the biggest thing that would mean so much to me, almost as much as Leicester winning the FA Cup. If you want to catch up with us later, give us about an hour, guys, and this will be live in podcast form on Anchor, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podcast Addict, to name but two. I'm going to play it again, and I'm going to play the outro video. But guys, thank you, Top. Thank you, Vishai. We can never, ever, ever thank you enough. Goodbye now. See you tomorrow night.
Hello, Matt Elliott here. Be sure to watch Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and follow all them social media platforms for all the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye, and see you next time.
Some people are on the pitch, they think it's all over. It is now.